Excerpts from the Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. Nearly every religion of the world shows traces of astrological influence. The Old Testament of the Jews, its writings overshadowed by Egyptian culture, is a mass of astrological and astronomical allegories. Nearly all the mythology of Greece and Rome may be traced in star groups. Some writers are of the opinion that the original 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet were derived from groups of stars, and that the starry handwriting on the wall of the heavens referred to words spelt out, with fixed stars for consonants and the planets or luminaries for vowels. These, coming into ever-different combinations, spelt words which, when properly read, foretold future events. As the zodiacal band marks the pathway of the sun through the constellations, it results in the phenomena of the seasons. The ancient systems of measuring the year were based upon the equinoxes and the solstices. The year always began with the vernal equinox, celebrated March 21st with rejoicing to mark the moment when the sun crossed the equator northward up the zodiacal arc. The summer solstice was celebrated when the sun reached its most northerly position, and the day appointed was June 21st. After that time, the sun began to descend toward the equator, which it recrossed southbound at the autumnal equinox, September 21st. The sun reached its most southerly position at the winter solstice, December 21st. By the word of God, the material universe was fabricated, and the 7 creative powers, or vowel sounds, which had been brought into existence by the speaking of the word, became the 7 Elohim, or deities, by whose power and ministration the lower world was organized. Occasionally the deity is symbolized by an eye, an ear, a nose, or a mouth. By the first, divine awareness is signified, by the second, divine interest, by the third, divine vitality, and by the fourth, divine command. The Greek initiates also recognized a fundamental relationship between the individual heavens, or spheres of the 7 planets, and the 7 sacred vowels. The first heaven uttered the sound of the sacred vowel alpha, the second heaven the sacred vowel epsilon, the third eta, the fourth iota, the fifth omicron, the sixth upsilon, and the 7th heaven the sacred vowel omega. When these 7 heavens sing together, they produce a perfect harmony which ascends as an everlasting praise to the throne of the Creator. Although not so stated, it is probable that the planetary heavens are to be considered as ascending in the Pythagorean order, beginning with the sphere of the moon, which would be the first heaven. Many early instruments had 7 strings, and it is generally conceded that Pythagoras was the one who added the 8th string to the lyre of Terpander. The 7 strings were always related both to their correspondences in the human body and to the planets. The names of God were also conceived to be formed from combinations of the 7 planetary harmonies. The Egyptians confined their sacred songs to the 7 primary sounds, forbidding any others to be uttered in their temples. One of their hymns contained the following invocation: "The 7 sounding tones praise thee, the great God, the ceaseless working Father of the whole universe." In another, the deity describes himself thus: "I am the great indestructible lyre of the whole world, attuning the songs of the heavens." The Pythagoreans believed that everything which existed had a voice, and that all creatures were eternally singing the praise of the Creator. Man fails to hear these divine melodies because his soul is enmeshed in the illusion of material existence. When he liberates himself from the bondage of the lower world with its sense limitations, the music of the spheres will again be audible as it was in the Golden Age. Harmony recognizes harmony, and when the human soul regains its true estate, it will not only hear the celestial choir but also join with it in an everlasting anthem of praise to that eternal good controlling the infinite number of parts and conditions of being. Visit soulhealingtribe.com to learn more about our mission and services.